How's it going, guys?
Hello.
We are back for another episode. We have absolutely loved your feedback so far, your criticisms, your feedback, so we thought we're just going to keep giving you more.
About to be cancelled, and we're not cancelled yet. Yo, Tony, you had a reel on your Facebook. How many views is it on right now?
Nearly 90,000.
90,000, like 400 comments, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mate, they are so funny. Like, obviously, we've already kind of talked about the fatties attacking us, but it is just ongoing. It is really funny, actually.
It's not letting up. It did go quiet for about 2 days, and then it went crazy again. Loads of crazy fat Americans commenting on it. Yeah, no, it's cool. Keep doing what you're doing, fatties. We're loving your work.
Thank you. You're sharing our podcast to the rest of the world, and that's what we love to see. Okay. We're going to start off with some stories, aren't we, mate? I was speaking to one of my clients this evening, and he was kind of giving me some topics to talk about for our podcast. And he was saying, well, why don't you talk about some holiday stories? So we got some holiday stories we can share with you, which I think you guys liked the stories from episode 1. So I feel like this is going to be pretty banterous.
Why do I feel like this is probing me to get more hate?
Mate, this is what your role is on this podcast. You get the hate, get us the views. I do all the editing and all the nerdy shit.
Good cop, bad cop.
That's what it is, mate. That's how we work.
Holiday stories.
Yeah, give me your wildest, maybe not the wildest, mate, because, you know, we might have kids watching. Give me a story from holiday.
Christ. I mean, okay, this is a real funny one. It's very, very childish. I'm just going to throw it out there. But, disclaimer, I was 17 years old. This was my first ever lads holiday, okay?
Love it.
And I went away with the boys. Didn't know what to expect, okay? It was like a different world going to, we went to Kavos. No, we didn't. We went to Zante for 2 weeks in Zante. 17-year-old boy, first ever lads trip away. There was about 5 of us, and it was fucking carnage. I'm talking, you know, if you've ever been to them type of places, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There was a couple of girls that were in the room next door to us, right? And I actually found this not long ago, and it was that long ago that I'd gone there. It's actually on one of them really old cameras.
Like a Nokia brick or something.
So I was like, no, like, you know, a genuine like camera.
Oh, a proper camera.
But like I was recording on it. This is how long ago we're talking. Yeah, it was like shit.
With Leonardo da Vinci's sketch, was it? You had him sitting in the corner.
I could literally, I can watch this video back, and I'd forgotten all about it, but it made me laugh so hard. So we was in this hotel. It was a bit of a weird hotel. Obviously, if you've seen the In-Betweeners, it was that hotel that's like, yeah, yours will be all right when it's finished, lads. It was that kind of vibe, right?
Legendary.
And there was a couple of girls in a room next to us, and they had gone out and got pissed up. And when they got back to their room, they left their door wide open, okay? Yeah. And we had got back to our room, obviously drunk as anything. It was sort of 5, 6 in the morning, whatever it was. Obviously, this must have been a night where we didn't pull.
I thought that was every night, mate.
Yeah, well, you know, we had to have some nights off. Young
Tony wasn't quite the man he is nowadays.
I had to give all of the other guys a chance, didn't we? Now, to be fair, we cleaned up there. But I left the door open, right? So me and my mate Dave, shout out to Dave. He's living his life in Brazil at the minute and all over the place.
Is Dave going to be watching this?
Hopefully, yeah. He's all over the place at the minute.
Big up Dave.
Man like Dave. But yeah, me and him, we sneaked into their room. We went in their room. While they're sleeping, they're both fucking conked out on the bed.
Wait, sorry. So you got 2 girls in their own rooms
next door,
and you've walked in.
Yeah, we walked. No, but we'd been talking to them throughout the holiday, so we'd made mates with them anyway.
You crept in, mate, like shoved the key card in the door.
No. We'd made friends with them. They were our neighbours for the week. So and we was there for 2 weeks. So we was bantering with them the holiday and stuff. They were pretty cool girls, to be fair. In fact, I think one of them's still on my Facebook. So I'm sorry if you're watching this, but yeah, literally. So we'd gone in their room. They're both KO'd on the bed, and we start touching them. Now I'm joking. No, I'm joking. We've gone in the room.
Get the roofies out.
Yeah. No, we've gone in, and they're both KO'd on the bed. So we're sneaking around their room, like just giggling like absolute children. We've gone in the bathroom. Dave starts plugging the toothbrush. So he's literally toothbrush up the arsehole. And we're like, what else can we do? Yeah, and we was just fucking about. We took loads of their clothes out into the hallway, fucked them all off down the hallway. Then one of them had red hair, one of them had blonde hair. Yeah, I'll never forget this. me being me, I always have to take things to that next level. So I got this, what I thought was just shampoo, and I squirted a bit on her face, on the blonde one's face. But what it actually was like red hair dye.
Right.
And she came down to the swimming pool the next day with this massive circle of red, and she was fuming, fucking pants all over the hallway.
Did she know it was you?
Of course,
Okay,
yeah. Like, we was obviously laughing about it. Like, whoa, fucking hell. We ended up actually getting kicked out of the hotel for it because they thought we'd broken into their room, but they saw on the cameras they'd left the door open. And anyway, in Greece, if you know Greece, you can just pay and get away with it. So we basically just paid the owner a fucking fee. They called him Shotgun Tony. We paid him a bit of a fee and he left us. But at 17 years old, it was funny, but it was actually quite scary when I thought we was going to get chucked out because we still had another week of the holiday to go.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a pretty funny story. I mean, like I say, it's childish, it's immature, but when you're in that moment as a lad with a group of lads, you'll never appreciate them moments more. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, mate, we've all done it as well. That sort of stuff. When you're 17, 18 years old, you just fucking take the piss, don't you? And you
100%.
You got low life experience, so you just do some crazy shit, and that's how you learn from it. But mate, that is funny.
It was funny because she came down with this big red circle on her face, yeah, and I don't think it went away for the rest of the holiday. It like stained her cheek. But yeah, it was funny. Thinking back now, it's pretty savage. But I mean, I have the footage on a fucking memory card on one of them really old cameras. And the shit we was doing, like I said, he was plugging her toothbrush and all this sort of stuff.
Gross, man.
To this day, she probably didn't know about the toothbrush bit, but now if she was watching,
well, if she's watching, she might like it. She might be thinking back, thinking,
that's why your breath stinks of shit.
Doris, if you're watching
that's why your breath
still
shit.
Smells of Tony's mate's bum.
Shout out Dave.
Shout out Dave.
Dave's arsehole. So yeah, that was pretty funny. I mean, we got up to loads of mischief in them places.
I went Magaluf.
Did you?
Yeah, man. When I was 18. And it's funny because we were all like real wet lettuce posh boys. I think like...
Yes, let's hear about the posh boys on tour.
Honestly, this is embarrassing because you got these wild stories. You were like quite the lad back in the day.
Jack the lad.
I was, I was funny, but I was a bit of a wet lettuce. Like I came from a posh boarding school and like we were out with 6 of us, I think, in Magaluf. I think almost everyone was a fucking virgin as well. And like we're 18 years old. I wasn't because I'm a fucking lad, obviously.
Yeah.
Fucking legend. Nah, but we went out there to Magaluf and it was like our party before we went off to uni, obviously.
Okay.
And there's a couple of funny stories. I remember we had this Thai guy with us, a guy called Pete, and we went out one night and he got absolutely fucked off his face and we brought him back to the hotel and he's like waving all over the place. Like, he's a really funny guy. He's a really, real nice guy. And we shaved his head. Not properly though. He wasn't bald. He went right down the middle.
So he looked like a monk.
No, we called him Friar Tuck, mate, because he had like the bit sticking out of the side. Mate, and his holiday, luckily, I think that was like the second last day, so he didn't have to go out looking like an idiot.
Oh, mate.
But mate, he properly looked like a Buddhist monk afterwards.
How do you get away with it when you're kids though? Like if you think back to them times, like there's so many stories like that, isn't there? Where you've done loads of craziness. I can't even say. I feel so bad like to say them, but think about the stories of your times when you and your boys were young and you're doing stuff. How funny were them times? Were them moments?
Pure jokes, man. Pure jokes.
I think as well to speak about them now, they probably don't sound that funny. But when you're in that moment as a young boy, drunk with your mates, you know you're probably not going to see him again for such a long time, especially you going off to uni and stuff like that. Like them moments are pure priceless for lads.
You never forget those moments, do you?
Nah.
But the thing is, mate, when we were out in Magaluf, because you know what I was like back then, I was Mr. Relationship. Yeah. So I'd had this story where I'd met this girl in America. So it was one of my mates, his friends, and I just randomly Skyped her. Mate, this shows how old I am. It was Skype back then.
MSN.
No, I sent her a pigeon, mate.
Yeah.
Sent her a little video of myself by pigeon. No, it was Skype. I got a number off his laptop and I just randomly Skyped her one day. And like, it's fucking weird back then now that I think about it, because we got into like a proper relationship over
Skype.
Through Skype, mate.
Dom, hey, quick, get this. Dom's mum's cooking one of the dogs.
Only is going to have our heritage dish tonight.
Look, listen.
Connie, you ready for some dog?
There's dogs going in the pant.
Hey, doggy, get in pen. You'll get in fight tonight.
Oh, that's jokes. So you had a relationship with Skype?
Yeah, man, we're a proper Skype relationship. You ever watch that show Catfish as well? I got lucky, mate, because I watch that show nowadays with Madison sometimes, and I think, fucking hell, I'd never met this girl, and I actually flew out to San Francisco to see her.
You went out to meet her?
Yeah.
You fucking crazy bastard.
I know, mate. I was out in San Francisco, just me and her. But that leads into the Magaluf story, because, mate, I think it's so weird nowadays to think about it. But I was out in Magaluf, and I was like in a relationship technically, even though it was a Skype relationship. So I was actually a really good boy. Didn't behave myself completely. Well, I didn't take anyone home, but one of my mates, I think he just was dancing with a girl. He took her back to his room, which we were like staying in a dorm, so it was like 3 beds. And obviously he'd locked the door, so we'd been locked out, and we just started singing outside the door while he was banging this girl, like probably singing at the top of his voice. And he was saying to us, "Oh, mate, I couldn't get a hard on because you guys were just making me laugh so much." Yeah,
little weasel.
Yeah, that leads me on to a question that one of my mates asked because he was listening to the podcast.
Go on.
You mentioned in episode 1 you had a Range Rover Sport at 23.
Yeah.
He wanted to know how were you able to afford that, because maybe some young people listening might get some ideas about how to make money.
The short answer is work hard. The long answer is I knew I wanted to be successful. When I left school, I always knew I wanted to have money. I didn't come from money. Grew up quite, not, I don't want to say poor, because we wasn't poor. Like, my mum made sure we had what we needed.
You grew up wanting more.
I grew up, like envious.
Yeah.
I used to look at other people, and I knew that their parents were broke, but they would fucking make sure that they, them like parents that buy their kids shit just to make
like
them
Gucci shoes and stuff like that.
to make them feel like they're doing really well. And but I used to, naive at the time, I used to look at them people and think, oh, I wish I could have that, or I wish I could have that. And my mum, bless her, like brought up two kids on her own kind of thing. If we asked her, she'd have broke her ass to fucking pay for anything for us. But we just didn't. We just knew, like, she's paying her mortgage, she's looking after us, so on and so forth. So that just drove me. Like, I just thought, I never ever want for anything. Yeah. Never ever. And so I got a really good job. I got a job with this company where, as I said, as soon as I was qualified, I was lodging away. But even when I was an apprentice, I was earning really good money for them because we worked long hours. And when you're lodging away, you get paid more money because you're staying away from home. And you work 12-hour shifts, so you just naturally get. I said I used to take home, I don't know, close to $1,000 a week. Yeah. At the age of like 21.
And then obviously you're not spending all of that, so you're saving a fair bit.
Well done. This was the thing. The first year or two of it, you was absolutely spending everything.
Yeah.
But again, I'm quite a forward thinker, and like I had so many years of fun. If you remember back to the story I was saying a minute ago, 17 years old, I'm going away, fucking 2 weeks holidays with the lads. I'm doing all this mad shit. So, I remember the first £1,000 week I had, like my first time I earned that, I took all my mates out buying bottles of champagne. So I was trying to live that like lifestyle because I just wanted to experience it. It was experience. And I was doing that from like 18. But I'm glad I did. It was like, it's a waste of money now thinking back, but it carried on driving me because once you've spent the money and you've had the experience, you want to do it again. So
it drives you, doesn't it? That's the thing with people who live really boring lifestyles, who earn half decent money but they don't spend their money. I always find they stay at the same level because it's just like a comfort blanket. When you actually spend your money, like even if it's stupid shit like going out and you see the levels of money being spent, it actually drives you to want to do that more. Like when we went out to Marbella, the amount of money being spent out there, I came back from that trip thinking, fucking hell, I need to properly earn some money. And that drove me to grow my online business like 2 times in the next bloody like month after that trip. And it wasn't anything to do with anything special I got taught. It was literally just being surrounded by people with a mindset of I want to make more money.
See, but that was the weird thing for me because I was never surrounded by people that were making loads of money. I mean, obviously the naughty boys where I grew up were making loads of money, and that, I suppose that drove me a little bit. But I think it was just my own want because I didn't have like loads of stuff as a kid. So I was earning money, good money from a young age. I was spending the money all the time. I was enjoying myself. And as I said, after a couple of years of doing this, you start to get to the point where you think, right, okay, I've done that now. I was buying designer clothes, like spending the money, just everything. But it was leveling me up because I was like looking like the fucking like the boy to your mates, you know, because they're doing like real low paid jobs, and I'm, even as an apprentice, I was earning like £500 a week. So I was buying nice trainers, nice clothes, and leveling up, and then once you've tasted that, then you never want to go back down. So like that was always my motivation: spend. Now I want more. Anyway, I got to about 22. And I thought, right, I've had madness now. From the age of about 14, it's just been pure carnage, just out on the street, drinking, to clubs, to partying abroad, whatever. Got to about 22, and then I was like, right, I'm still earning this money, but I need to just rein it in a little bit. Now I need to start thinking about doing something as well. So the first thing I did was I got my house, my first house.
You put a mortgage down.
Put money down for a mortgage, got a mortgage, a 3-bed house. Then the money I had left over, I had a Seat IB for FR at that time. I sold that car to We Buy Any Car, I think, something like that. And they give me about £9,000 or something. Then this Range Rover I wanted was about 21. And what did I do? I put the £9,000 straight down on the Range Rover, because I'd always said to myself, I want that car, I want a Range Rover. So I had my house now, so now I could think, now I was back in the mindset of, as long as I'm paying for that, I can have whatever else I want.
Because you got like £3,000 left over for spending money. You're getting £1,000 a week, about £4,000 a month. You got £3,000 left over, haven't you? So it's like, so I was like, right, I can still have fun, but I said to myself, when I buy a house, I'm doing it so that I've got some security, some safety net, because I still want to live this lifestyle, but I just knew I couldn't carry on just spending the money, because that's all I was doing up to that point. And so I got the mortgage on the house. Then after I got the mortgage, it calmed me down a lot, because it was like, right, I've got responsibilities now. I can't keep spending money like I was going out, but I'd rather have nice things. And then you start spending money on the house, and then I stopped spending so much money on clothes and going out. I was buying little bits, whereas before I was buying fucking £200-300 Stone Island jumpers and stuff like that. Well, mate, we've all been through that phase. I've done it as well.
But then I got my Range Rover, got my house, and then after that I was like, right, cool. Now everything I earn, I'm going to pay off what I need to pay off with the car and the house, and then whatever I'm left with, I'll enjoy myself on. So I've got this safety net. So I wasn't saving money. I was just paying off the house, and I was spending the rest. And that's how I did it. I just worked hard.
Work hard and smart moving around the money, basically.
Just manage the money well. But then, like, you know, we had the ability to work Saturdays and Sundays, and at that business, if you worked a Saturday, you got I can't remember what it was now. I think you got 15 hours paid for a Saturday. No, it was 20 hours paid for a Saturday and 25 hours paid for a Sunday.
So double and triple.
A lot of money, basically. It was like when you qualified Spark, it's about £14 an hour back then. So it was a lot of money. So if I was ever like, I need more, I would just work Saturdays and Sundays and stay away from home.
So I think that's a really good lesson for maybe some young people or people at the early stage of their career who are listening to our podcast. Like, we're always looking for the magic bullet. We're always looking for like the next big online business. I'm going to make 10 grand a month, 20 grand a month by drop shipping, or bloody like starting a clothing brand or something like that. I like your story because I think it's a lot more realistic. Work flipping hard, save for the things that are important, mortgage, if car's important for you, car. And then work your way up that way. And now you've worked yourself up. So at the age of 32, are you right now?
33.
33, where you're earning, what, 10, 20 grand a month, just from working your way up. And the problem with a lot of the young kids I see nowadays who are trying to make lots of money, they're not willing to put in that graft and work Saturday and Sundays. They want to just try all these random things like, I'm going to do drop shipping. I'm going to do online marketing. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. They do it for a month, make like 100 quid, think, oh, fuck this, it's not worth it. When actually, if they put their heads down and worked hard on it, they might be in the point where maybe in a year or two's time they're making 10 grand a month. So
everything you hear with me, you'll hear I always talk about contingency. And from a young age, I've always had a plan B. So it's like, if I want to go out drinking and pissing my money up the wall, that's fine to do, providing that my plan A is I'm paying off my mortgage first. So I'm doing the responsible thing first, and then what I'm left with, that's what I'm enjoying with. And I think the majority of people get that wrong. I think people just tell themselves a lie that they're going to be able to change in the future. So let's say from the age of 18, they're earning money, they're spending money. That's fine. I done it. You've got to do it. I believe you have to do it, but learn the lessons fast. Don't keep telling yourself when you're 30 and you're still doing the same thing that you're going to change. Because the reality is you're not. You know, at that point you say, right, I've done this solidly now for 2 years. Now I'm going to halve that. Yeah, I've enjoyed myself. Now I'm going to half what I was spending on going out, and I'm going to start investing it into something. I bought this house, I was never in it. Yeah, because I used to lodge away all the time.
Yeah, but you know it's an investment that's going to go up in value.
It was a long-term
You're putting money into it that's not being wasted. It's yours.
Yeah, and it felt like I had something to show for the money, because I was getting to the point in my mind where I was feeling shit, because although I was having so much fun, the realization was starting to kick in, and I was only 20. The realization was starting to kick in that actually you're having too much fun.
Yeah.
Because you've got nothing to show for it other than nice clothes and materialistic shit that no one cares about. You've got nothing to show for it. And so it was like, right, okay, I need to do something now. Force my hand. I don't need a house, but let me buy one just so that I've got some responsibility. And then I can have fun.
Yeah.
But the thing you said about the the online, the overnight success, the reality is anybody that has an overnight success, it took them 20, 30 years to get an overnight success.
You don't see that because they'll only post about the success. I can talk from my business perspective. I'm doing really well at the moment. I've got a lot of freedom with my time. I'm earning pretty decent money.
And your online business is popping.
Yeah, so it's all online. So I can work from wherever I want, technically. I can, if I really wanted to, work like 10 hours a week. And that's the bare minimum I'd have to do. Obviously, I put a lot more hours into that because I'm trying to build it some more. But people see that and they go, oh yeah, I want to be an online coach as well. I've had probably 3 or 4 people that I know who have decided they're going to be like an online coach after seeing my success with it. And they just don't put it in the graph. They haven't got the experience, they haven't got the people skills, they haven't got the knowledge with training people to actually make it a viable business. And also the skills with digital marketing, because it is digital marketing at the end of the day that grows my business. So like, people don't see that I spent 3-4 years, probably 3 years I'd say, on minimum wage, working on the gym floor, just literally talking to people, trying to get them as clients. Then I would train them in person, earning 30-40 pound an hour. So that's a better pay now, but again, it's capped, because realistically I can do 30 to 40 hours of PT before I run out of time, and I'm just absolutely exhausted. So I was always thinking ahead, much like you, I was always thinking ahead about how I can grow myself. And I thought, I need a business that's scalable. So I started thinking, right, what do people come to me for? They come to me because they want a result. They want to feel better in their bodies. They want to look better in their bodies. So I was like, okay, how do I translate that result into something that's scalable? So I came up with the idea, and I had mentorship with this as well, where I can build them a program online, give them the accountability that they're missing.
Well, did you pay for mentorship?
I did, yeah. I put down about 6 grand into it. This is an important lesson as well. I've put about 15 grand into mentorship in the last year. And that's really important, because that 15 grand is not wasted. That 15 grand is an investment in myself that I learn that I can then grow my business. Obviously, don't just fucking throw money at random mentorships. I did my research on them. But that's helped me grow. And anyway, going back to the story, so I'm now in a position where I can pretty much take on as many clients as I want, up to a point. If I want to hire people underneath me, they can start working for me, which you just cannot do as a normal personal trainer. And I remember there was this guy I used to work with on Instagram. He got well pissed off at me. A guy called, I'll call him out actually, Sam, fucking loser. Sam, fuck you.
Sam who?
I won't say his full name. He's a little like soy boy, basically.
Okay.
But yeah, I used to work with him. Really, really strange guy. And remember when we went to Marbella? So I did a few interviews with Izzy on the camera. And I was talking a little bit about my business model. I was saying, like, you know, you need a business that's scalable. If you're a PT, you can do like a maximum of 40 hours a week, earning £40 an hour, but then there's like gym rent costs, there's your travel costs, blah, blah, blah.
Tax,
whatever. So you might take home like a pretty good wage. You might take home 50, 60K a year. That's pretty good for most people. But I was always thinking, if that's going to be my life for the rest of my life, that's not satisfying for me. I don't want to be on 50K for the rest of my life. So I put that up as a reel because at the time I was doing a coaching mentorship. So I wanted to get other PTs thinking about how can you grow your business? You can't just be an in-person personal trainer all the time. And this fucking guy comments on my post. He's like, you got 40 hours of clients times £40 per hour. That's like, I can't remember what he worked out the wage to be, and he was like, you're earning this much, that seems completely unreasonable, you're definitely telling some lies. And I was like, mate, that is how much I'm earning. And he was just commenting on here, like saying, stop spreading lies on the internet. I was just like, mate, how's your business doing? And he just doesn't respond.
Bro, you just gotta take them people with a pinch of salt.
So let's talk about mindset now, I think. That's a good little topic to go on to. What would you say would be like the mindset to become successful in life? And the thing is, success can be defined as a lot of things. It can be money, it can be family, it can be just having freedom in your life. But what would be your mindset tips to give to our listeners?
I think my biggest thing, when I really think about all of the things I've done, all of the things that has gone well, all of the things that have gone bad, for me, the biggest thing is learn to have balance. Yeah, because when I actually think about what helped me to do better, it was when I started to understand balance. You can't be all in on just going out, partying, living that lifestyle, and then not having nothing else to back it up, nothing else to show for it. You know, it's okay to have your sins and do the things that, you know, are probably not the most or the best thing for you to do in the world. But if you've got something to back it up, then it's a hobby.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
The difference between a hobby and addiction is how frequently you're doing something, right? So if I was just going out, and there was periods when I was doing that, just going out spending money, then that's just pure addiction.
Yeah.
But then when I started to change it, level it off and say, right, okay, well, I'm going to have 50-50. I'm going to have serious Tony, dedicated, motivated. As long as I keep earning money, Tony, and putting away on this house, then I can have my fun.
Yeah.
So it's find the balance. In anything you do, is find the balance.
I like it, mate, yeah.
Also as well, I would say, spread your wings as early as possible. Because if you stay at home, stay in your comforts, you're never out of your comfort zone, I think it will hold you back. I think one of the best things, and I obviously didn't know that this was going to happen for me. I got quite lucky with that job, going and working away. But I think one of the best things is to be able to explore, isn't it? It gave me confidence, it grew me up, I was earning good money, I was around good people. If I'd just stayed in Peterborough doing what I was doing prior to that, I was probably nearly going jail. So as early as possible, just cut the cord. Get some separation from your friends, the people you've grown up with, the people that you live with, your mum, your dad, so on and so forth. Cut the cord, explore, meet as many new people as possible and expand.
It expands your mindset when you meet lots of different people, 100%. Isn't it? I think that's why we can speak with such authority about lots of different topics, because we're both in quite people-facing jobs, and we've both experienced quite a lot in life, and you get a lot of different perspectives, which are going to help you not sound like an absolute tool when you're talking on a podcast, for example.
Yeah, I mean, how many people do you know that have probably never even been to Leeds?
I've never been to Leeds, mate.
Do you see what I mean? Yeah. Surrounded by wankers.
Why'd you have to say Leeds, mate? I've been so many places. I just haven't been Leeds.
All right, but it's an example, wasn't it? Let's use a better one. Let's say, how many people do you know that have probably never left Peterborough?
Yeah, a lot of people.
Yeah, never been on a holiday. You know, they're just bound to the confinement of
Peterborough, and then they go to
work, home,
don't even have a passport. Sometimes they'll venture out to Huntingdon, maybe.
Nah.
Cambridge.
That's far.
Cambridge on a good day.
That's far for them.
Yeah, exactly. But
some people don't even have a car.
Yeah, that's mental. I can't imagine that, man. I think mindset is a really good topic for me because I've experienced what it's like to have a really poor mindset.
Yeah.
And I've experienced what it's like to now have a really good mindset that makes me work really hard. And I think if I was to give my best piece of advice to people is don't be such a fucking pussy, pretty much. I'm serious. Let me explain my point. I'm serious. Don't be such a fucking pussy, because for me, sometimes I felt like a little bit anxious as a kid. I'd say maybe between the ages of like 18 to 23-ish, maybe.
Anxious about what?
Just anxious about getting out there, mate. Like talking to different people, getting new jobs, getting out of my comfort zone, basically. That's essentially what it came down to, getting out of my comfort zone. But now that I'm the person I am nowadays, I would just go back to that person that I was when I was 18, fucking slap him across the face and stop being such a pussy, be such a bitch. Yeah, fucking backslap.
No, you wouldn't. You'd be like, karate chop on his head.
My mindset nowadays is life is hard and it's meant to be hard. You can't be going around saying, oh, I'm anxious about this. I'm anxious every time I get out of bed and I need a piss. Like I'm anxious because strangers might hurt me. Like, no, you can't be in that mindset.
I believe that's learned behaviour, do you?
I think sometimes it comes down to the way someone is, but I believe with almost everyone that if you get out there and talk to people, you will get better, and you will.
Yeah, but don't you think everybody now has got a condition?
Yeah, I know, it's mental, isn't it, mate?
But it's learned behaviour, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, because people, they're making it acceptable for everybody to have a disorder or
I can
a
speak
problem.
with such experience on that, mate, because I had all the excuses when I was that age. I could be like, oh, I don't feel well today, I don't want to do it, or I'm a little bit anxious, I don't want to go out tonight, stuff like that. But nowadays, if I feel any sort of anxiety, like if I'm speaking to loads of people, or if I'm doing something that's out of my comfort zone, I just go, stop being such a fucking pussy, get out there and do it. And do you know what? That might sound really harsh, but that mindset makes me go do it.
Yeah.
And then every time I go and do that thing that I was scared about doing, I feel a lot better afterwards. And I actually get a lot better at doing that thing that I was scared about doing.
100%.
So nowadays, it doesn't faze me in the slightest, whereas that would have fazed me when I was younger. That would have, you know, struck fear into me.
I think as a young boy, it was quite daunting.
Yeah.
But because you're always just thrown into it, I had no choice but to level up.
That's what it's about, isn't it?
Yeah.
Throwing yourself into
Yeah.
it. And I wish I had me now, 29 years old, talking to my 18-year-old self saying, now just throw yourself into it, go do it. I would have leveled up a lot quicker. I'm happy with where I am nowadays. I've done really well, I think. But if I was 18 and I had someone just saying, nah, you're going to go do that. I don't care what you think. You are just going to go do it. I don't care if you cry. I don't care if you shit your pants. I don't care if you wake up and you're crying because you don't want to go do that thing. You're going to go do it. And even if I am feeling like absolutely terrible because of it, eventually it gets better. And I don't think a lot of people get told that nowadays. They get told, oh, it's okay. It's okay that you're feeling a bit anxious today. Why don't you take a rest today?
Yeah, but that's the fucking wet lettuce culture that we live in.
Exactly. And there are people out there. I've had an ex-girlfriend who had a serious mental health disorder that are just wired that way. And I don't know if they will get better without like serious medical intervention. But
no, I think that at a young age she needed to be around people that were going to say, stop being a fucking melt, get out there and do something.
Yeah.
You need to be, but if you pander to them people, that's what I'm saying, it's learned behaviour.
Yeah.
Like if you've got a kid, do you remember them kids at school when they're like, oh, he's really naughty, he's got ADHD, and then because he knows that everyone knows he's got it, he'll stand up and he'll throw chairs and he'll overreact.
Yeah.
Because he knows that everybody's watching and he wants to heighten that,
Yeah.
Realistically, he could have just sat down and shut his fucking mouth, But because he was because it was like, it's like the role play, you fall into that, you're playing that part.
My mindset is I don't care what medical disorder you have, whatever it is, you are in control of what your two hands do, what your mouth does. You are in absolute control. You may be more inclined if you have ADHD to stand up and be disruptive. But if you get told to shut the fuck up and there's consequences if you don't shut the fuck up, you're more likely to not do that thing that's disruptive to everyone else.
So as a sexual predator, where did I learn not to be a sexual? How did you learn to stop being a sexual predator?
I didn't. I'm allowed to hide it. No, don't put that bit in.
No, but you know, learned behaviour. It's bullshit. Like at the end of the day, stop being a fucking excuse maker. That's the thing that pisses me off today. Everyone's got an excuse as to why they do things. Own your shit. Nobody takes accountability.
People are like, oh, I'm sad today. Gym is such a good example of this. I'm a PT. Oh, I've had a hard day today. I can't go to gym. I've got to order that pizza. No, shut the fuck up. I don't care if your fridge has run out of milk, your girlfriend doesn't love you, whatever. Life is shit. Shit happens. You have still got to do the things that you know you need to do to get forward in life. Otherwise, you're just going to be that person that's always wanting something. Let's take gym, for example. You're wanting a good body. And you're making all these excuses. And you're just never going to get there. So now you're left in the situation where you want something, but you can't have it because of your own laziness. Whereas if you just take the mindset of, I feel shit today, okay, I'm still going to do the things that I need to do. You now are happier in the long term because you achieve the things that you always want to achieve. It's removing short-term gratification, because the short-term gratification thing to do when you have a shit day is to sit at home, watch Netflix, eat pizza and do absolutely nothing. The long-term success thing to do is to get your ass out of the house and get to the gym and get yourself eating clean, feeling good, and that is going to get you to where you want to be.
I think that's why from a young age I always liked dressing nice, because no matter how much I felt like shit, if you dress up, you give yourself a motive.
What do you dress up as? Trans.
Yeah. Nah, what I'm saying
is that what you enjoy?
If you get home from work and you're a fat, lazy slob and you put your fucking pajamas on and you have no motive, the night's over. Let's say it's 6 o'clock. The day's over, it's done. You get home from work, you get showered, you put nice clothes on. Even if you've got nowhere to fucking go, you're motivated to do something.
Okay, interesting.
Do you see what I'm saying?
I've never done that, mate. I mean, I live in gym clothes, mate, so I go out to the gym.
But for me, if I get dressed up, right, now where am I going? I ain't got no motive yet. I'm going to fucking find one. I've got hours of the night left now. I'm not sitting there wanking to fucking Pop Idol. I'm ready to do something, and it's going to be an adventure. Whatever it is, I don't care. It's going to be an adventure.
And that's when you end up with stories.
That's when you end up with funny stories, funny situations. And them nights are the best. No planning. Meet up with your boys. Yo, Ant, what you up to? Let's go and have a beer. One night we drove to Cambridge, took some pillows with us.
Did you go meet that girl from episode 1 from Cambridge?
She was still at the fucking train station.
Did you go say hi to her?
Yeah, she's still at the train station.
You go, oh, you fatty.
No, we took some pillows in my car. We literally drove to Cambridge, parked at the top of a high-storey car park.
Yeah.
No hotel, nothing, no plan, no motive. We went out, fucking had the best night ever, and then we went and slept in the car.
Legendary.
It's fucking the best thing. We had, get up, dress up, show up, regardless of how you're feeling shit, dress up, lie to yourself first. Yeah, it doesn't matter what you're actually feeling. If you start lying to yourself and tricking your own mind by doing them things, go and have a haircut, go and put on some nice clothes.
That's a really good point, actually, trick your mind. I think we can say that as like a slogan almost, because that's what I was saying about with stop being a pussy. It doesn't matter if you feel anxious. Trick your mind. Sometimes when I'm like trying to talk to a large group of people or whatever, I still feel a little bit anxious before I go, because I think, oh, what if I fuck up? What if this happens? What if that? But I trick my mind. I just say, no, that's not going to happen. I don't care.
Bro, do you think Ed Sheeran stands on the stage still now and doesn't get nervous when he's got fucking millions of people around him, and for that split second of starting his concert, do you think he don't get nervous? Of course he does. Like, that feeling's never going away, but they just learn how to channel it into excited energy or good energy.
Yeah, and that's hacking your mind, isn't
100%.
it? To achieve things that other people aren't able to achieve.
But they say to people like that, imagine the audience is naked. What are you doing? You're tricking your mind.
Yeah.
But then your tiny little cock would be like that. Like just
little ginger pubes.
poking out the end of your trouser like that.
I was trying to think of an Ed Sheeran song there to go with that. I don't know Ed Sheeran well enough.
It was just an example, but I like that ginger fucker. But no, you know what I'm saying? Like when he goes on stage, do you think he doesn't get nervous? Of course he does. And when every time you're in a new scenario, you get a little bit nervous. You haven't done it for a long while, unless you're just relentlessly doing new things all the time and you're an adrenaline junkie. Not many people are genuinely like that.
Yeah, I got really good examples from a lot of my. I've had a lot of clients, obviously, in my time.
Yeah.
Most people will end up getting a transformation, but there's things I can't do for people. I can't physically take you to the gym.
No.
I can't physically put the food in your mouth. I can give you the best plan in the world that makes it as easy as possible. It fits into your lifestyle. All you got to do is follow it. Some people will still go, I can't do it because of this. I can't do it because of that.
Listen,
like, fuck off.
As a coach, the only thing you can do is give people the keys to the sweet shop. It's their responsibility to help themselves.
I liken it to Google Maps.
Yeah.
I'll put the destination into your GPS. I'll give you the route to do it. All you've got to do is take the car and go there. Make it as easy as possible. You've got the nicest car possible. You've got the easiest roads possible. There's no traffic, whatever. All I need you to do. But some people will still go, you know what? My anxiety today. You know what? I just didn't feel like it today. I had this one guy who was on my coaching for like a year. He must have turned up to like a total of about 10 workouts.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what are you doing, mate? You're paying me a lot of money. You're not doing anything. And every time obviously, I'm really on it because I really care about my clients getting results. And I'm messaging him like, what are you doing, mate? Why are these workouts not done? And then he'd just go like, oh, sorry, mate, I've been really busy this week. Oh, sorry, mate, my girlfriend this. Oh, sorry, mate, I was out this weekend, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, you're paying me a lot of money to waste your time and my time. What is the point? Because I'm making your life as easy as possible and you're just coming up with all these shitty excuses. And it's like, what are you doing, mate? What are you doing?
Yeah, but people like that, will probably never change.
No.
You have to want it. You have to want to do it first.
But the thing is, he clearly wants to. He's paying me a good amount of money.
Yeah, but does he want to?
They have really, that's what I don't understand about these people. They have really good chats with me. They're like, I've been out of shape for years. I don't feel good in my body. I've got such a low energy. It would really make such a big difference to my life. I align everything for them. I give them the clear vision, what is going to change in your life. Because it's not just about, oh yeah, mate, you're going to be ripped, you're going to have a six pack. It's like, how are you going to feel? How is this going to help your life? So I make that very clear and make them understand how it makes their life better. But he's aligned everything and he's just still not done it. I'm just like, I can't help you, mate.
Yeah, because and we get it a lot with our business, you know, because people say they want to do something and they push themselves to do something, but then when the realization comes in of how much work is actually involved, they give up because it's that saying, everybody wants to go to heaven, nobody wants to die.
Yeah.
It's the realization that, fuck, I actually have to work at this. And if you're a certain type of person, maybe like my mindset, nothing was ever a problem. So like for me, working hard, it was just normal to me because I'd only ever done that from a young age. So again, that's why that business in particular really helped me.
Yeah.
Because I'd only ever worked hard.
Well, mine's a learned behavior.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really a hard worker when I was younger, but I definitely am nowadays.
I only knew that. The first time I was on site, you know, I was working with the foreman on site, Italian, old school guy, you know, like, and I used to think, fuck's sake, everyone else gets to mess about on site and I'm fucking like, oh, woe me, I've got to work with the foreman.
Yeah.
And one of the guys called Johnny, I remember him saying to me clear as day, he said, do you know what though? He said like, you may think this is bad now for you, but you'll be one of the best guys because if you look at his other apprentices that had worked under Gino, for example, if you look at his other apprentices, they're all like the top boys.
Yeah.
You know, because he was the toughest man on site. He taught you in the right way. He didn't take no fucking shit from you.
Instilled discipline.
He instilled discipline. I remember one time I pulled up to Norman's Cross, yeah. This is how savage he was. I was his apprentice, by the way, so you'd think he'd like me. Nah. I pulled up to Norman's Cross. The time to pick up was like, let's say it was 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
I was there at 8:02. Yeah. And he waited for me to turn up and he drove off. As soon as I pulled into the car park, he drove off. This is a true story, bro.
Okay,
so I had to turn my car around and follow the van all the way to Luton. Taught me a lesson. Don't be fucking late.
Yeah.
But his lessons, the way he taught me, and like most simpy people of today would cry at the way he acted, but I fucking love him for it now because it taught me loads of good lessons, and he's a fucking legend.
And it makes you more successful in later life, doesn't it? By having those harsh
I'm not a
lessons.
little bitch because of it.
Like sometimes, sometimes like us using harsh words and stuff like that is not made to piss people off.
Yeah,
it's made,
it is.
well, slightly.
Fuck you pussies.
All of you pussies. Now, there's more about making people understand that if you have this harsh mindset of it is not acceptable, it is not acceptable to wallow in your own sorrow. It is not acceptable to make all these excuses. If you make it unacceptable, people achieve stuff. And you know what? They're actually happier for it.
Yeah.
I'm exactly the same as a coach. I don't take the excuses. And sometimes people just need that. Sometimes people just need me to be there and force them to do something. And every single time they don't hate me for it. They go, Dom, you've changed my life. You've made this so good for me. I've finally achieved something that I've not been able to achieve my whole life. And part of the reason is because you've been there every single week, making sure that I do the stuff that I'm meant to be doing. And that's what it is. Like doing the things that you know you're meant to be doing, regardless of the way you feel. Nobody likes working hard. Man, I hate when I wake up at 7 in the morning and I go to bed at 9 and all I've done all day is edit videos and all I've done is PT people, make a reel, whatever. Do you think I'm sitting there going, oh, I've loved it? I'm going, fucking hell, I'm tired. I've got so much shit to do. I'm like absolutely stressed right now. But if I do that week on end, my business grows, I earn more money. And then when I do take a little bit of a break, I have the financial freedom to go do whatever I want. And I don't have to sit there going, oh no, the tax man's put up the taxes. Oh no, like I can't go on holiday. Oh no, I'm on minimum wage. Because the truth is, and there are people out there that genuinely are stuck in dead-end jobs and feel hopeless. But I think for a lot of people, if you take that self-accountability and you look, how could I work harder? How could I approach this in a different way to try and earn more money? You'll actually see there's a lot of opportunity in this world. Nowadays, there's a really good stat I saw. We live in an era where the average person is richer than any medieval king has ever been, ever. And you think about that because medieval kings, they had feasts. They had like a bed. They didn't have the technology we had nowadays. They had a horse.
Yeah.
They had shit in the streets when they were walking down the streets. They had to be surrounded by bodyguards, otherwise the peasants would.
But they had prostitutes though.
So it's all good.
That's all you need.
The average person nowadays, they didn't have hot water. They had to boil the water for ages. They didn't have electricity. They've got to carry candles around in the dark.
Yeah.
Nowadays, People take for granted the fact that we have running hot water, we have houses that don't collapse, we have fridges to have delicious food whenever we want to. We don't have to hunt for our food. We live better lives than any medieval king has ever done in a life. So if you're going to sit there and be like, oh no, my life is so shit, because of this, because of that, because I can't afford my Amazon Prime account, fuck off.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's all down to accountability. Everything you said there is accountability.
Yeah.
You know, but nobody is accountable anymore because they're not made to be.
Yeah.
You can come second place. It's okay. Fuck that. If I have a kid, I'm be drilling it into him. He needs to fucking win.
Yeah.
Who cares about second place? Oh, well done for taking part, you fat little twat. You come sixth. Oh, well done. No, Simon. Why the fuck didn't you win? Simon.
It's the wrong slap, mate. Backhand slap.
My kid's not going to be called Simon. Simon's a paedophile, man.
Simon Stewart. Yes,
Simon says, I'm a pedo. No, but I will literally be drilling into my kid. You need to fucking win. Because as I said on the last one, every day is a competition, especially for men. And girls, don't train your girls to be little fucking princesses either. You know, I think I'm guilty of it with my nieces. I think like they can have whatever they want. I fucking love them to pieces, you know what I mean? But I think at the same time, I feel a bit guilty because I think my brother, like everyone like around them's like spoiling them.
Yeah.
And then I think, oh, do you know, is this actually the wrong thing to do?
There's a fine line, mate. Like, if you're too nice, they're going to grow up without life skills. If you're too much of a dick, you're just a bad parent.
Yeah, but I want them to feel like, I almost want them to feel that sense of drive and urgency. Like, I don't want them to think, oh, everything's just given to me because I'm a pretty princess.
My mum did that brilliant with me.
Yeah.
If you're looking for examples of parenting, I think my mum did.
Because you used to be a little girl.
Hey, I was Dominica. I became Dominic, and now I'm buff. So you know, it's worked out all right.
Now you're fighting in the Olympics against
female. I'm that Moroccan boxer. Now, my mum, she had the best way of parenting. We had, obviously, I grew up really rich, so we had lots of really nice things.
Yeah.
But if I wanted anything, I knew my parents could afford it. Like if I wanted the PS4, or if I wanted the newest Xbox, or what was it, like those Game Boys back in the day, wasn't it? I always had to earn it. So I'd be like, oh, I really want the new Game Boy to play Pokemon when I was like 8 years old. And she'd be like, okay, well, you need to get an A star in your maths. You need to get an A star in your maths.
Dominic, education is your passport.
Dominic, come home when you're doctor. Dominic, you can have a Game Boy when you are doctor.
You need to do acupuncture.
Yeah, she'd just turn around and say, you doctor yet? Like, no, mum, I'm 8.
But it was purely based on your results then?
It was always earned. And that's really important because I think like really poor parenting, and some people might think it's good parenting, I think it's really poor parenting, is where your kid just has everything. Yeah. Like, kids like, oh, I want the latest iPad. Sure, here's your latest iPad. Yeah. If my kid comes up to me in future and he's like, Daddy, I want the latest iPad, I'll go like, yeah, of course. How are you going to earn it? Yeah. And then we'll have a conversation. We'll talk about how are you going to earn it, come up with ideas, and then they put it into action. If they don't do it, they're not getting it. Yeah. And then that distills into them the action taker mindset. Because now they know that in order to achieve something, they have to come up with a plan. What are you going to do to get there? And then put that into action. Yeah. And that's going to make them successful in life.
100%. Yeah. 100%. I mean, I was lucky in that respect because I couldn't just have everything.
Well, yeah.
So like for me, it was like.
So you learned the hard way.
Yeah, but I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Like my mum would, give her last penny for us. Like she doesn't smoke, she doesn't drink, she's never been one of them wastes money. She was focused on paying our mortgage off and whatever and making sure that we had food, and that was priority number one for her. She used to have to work every day and whatever. But then at Christmas I used to appreciate it because I was like, oh, my mum worked so hard for this. That's how it used to make me feel. Yeah. So like if she'd bought us some bikes, for example, she got us bikes one year and I was like buzzing, like, oh fucking hell, mum, you've smashed this, girl. Or we used to sit up till, because we used to go Birmingham, my dad's parents are from Birmingham, so Kidderminster, so we used to go there most Christmases, so I didn't get to see my mum at Christmas, but we'd always make sure we took our mum's present because we knew it would be one, but it was going to be a banger, because she would make sure she got us exactly what we wanted, but not spoil us. It was like, right, well, you've got that present. And then she'd get us like little stocking fillers and stuff like that. But it was like, for example, you said about Pokemon. I remember one year, I could tell by the box it was the new Pokemon game.
Yeah.
And I had my Game Boy, and when we used to go to Birmingham, I used to take my Game Boy, and I was like, I waited up till 12 o'clock. Even though my mum weren't there, I'd still have the respect to wait till 12 o'clock before I opened the present.
That's legendary.
I could have been a little prick and just opened it. It was like, nah.
Yeah, I had the exact same thing distilled into me. It was about respect for your parents, wasn't
100%,
it?
yeah.
Like they tell you to do something, okay, you are going to do that.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, I was a little shit at times as well,
well, we all.
but deep down inside, like, I did have respect, and I've always had respect for you know, the right people.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like that to me was like, fucking hell, you know, I've got this, I'm so lucky.
Yeah.
You know, but the kids now, they'll be like, fucking, you only bought me an iPhone fucking 14,
I want an iPhone 16.
Yeah, but fuck off, you little twat. Get off your fucking ass and do something. You're 14 now, go and clean some cars.
Go to the fucking gym. Go do some
clean some
push-ups.
cars.
Do 100 push-ups and I'll give you an iPad.
If you do 1,000 push-ups, I'll give you a virgin. If you do 500, I'll give you Vicky Pollard.
Vicky Pollard.
You can practice on a fatty first. But if you do 1,000 push-ups at the age of 12, you get a virgin.
They got to do it in a row as well.
Yeah.
All
at once. None of these bullshit push-ups either. Proper man's
chest
push-ups.
to floor.
100%.
Nipples touching.
Dom, I want to change the subject up slightly. When I was on holiday recently, there was a plane crash in Brazil.
Right.
Now, rumour has it, there were some cancer doctors on board.
Well, so a plane crashed when they were all cancer doctors.
Not all of them, but there was just some cancer doctors on board, yeah. What do you think about that? Are you a conspiracy man?
Mate, to be honest, I am complete opposite of a conspiracy person. You know what I'm like, mate? I'm a sciencey guy.
Yeah.
I believe in facts, I believe in information, I don't really believe in conspiracy theories. But you're saying a plane crashed that had a bunch of cancer doctors on it. Is that coincidence? Where were they going?
To a clinic in Brazil for some AstraZeneca meetings. So maybe there was like some sort of cancer trials or something along them lines. And obviously, you know, people take anything they read out of context and they run away with a story, which can happen a lot. But it just seemed a bit, you know, from what I'd read and from what people were saying, it seemed a bit strange that like they're potentially like on their way to find a cure. They're doing great things, and then the plane just randomly spirals out of control and crashes.
I can tell you some really interesting stuff from our biochemistry lectures, actually, that ties quite well into this.
Go.
So we got taught in one of our lectures, by the way, I was at one of the best universities for biochemistry.
Yeah.
We got taught in one lecture that there was this case, and I can't remember which pharma company it is. It might have been Johnson & Johnson's. And it's possibly to do with the talcum powder, but there was something in this powder that was giving people really bad adverse reactions, like really bad, like giving them cancer sort of thing. And they knew about it. They knew that that was what was going to happen. But the thing is, this product was selling billions.
Yeah.
It was making billions worldwide. So what they had worked out was that by selling this product, let's say they made 5 billion from this product, they knew the lawsuit was going to be 3 billion.
Yeah.
So they saw it as a 2 billion profit. And we got taught that in a biochemistry lecture, that's what big pharma does. They see something that's technically immoral, and they put it out there anyway because the profit margin makes it worth it, even if the lawsuit comes in. So I could see potentially that if someone was going to go cure cancer, that they would go, no, we don't want that. We don't want a cure. We want some drugs that will kind of reduce the symptoms, but you've got to be on them long term. But what I will tell you that's interesting about cancer, and this is one thing that a lot of conspiracy theorists, when they think about cancer, don't understand, is it's got one word, it's cancer, but it's not one diagnosis.
No.
There are so many different types of cancer, and every cancer is individual because it's to do with your cells. You've got cells in your body, they've got DNA inside them. The DNA mutates, and it can happen for whatever reason. It can happen because the sun hits your skin, it can happen because just wear and tear over time. And basically, in your DNA, something changes. And if you get a really unlucky mutation, you might get a mutation where the cell decides to divide. And cells divide all the time in your body anyway, but you might get a signal from one of these mutations that doesn't stop the cell from dividing. And that's essentially what cancer is. Cancer is a cell that won't stop dividing. So you can't really cure cancer because of that, because each mutation is so individual, and there can be a million reasons why someone has cancer. So to say curing cancer, it can't really happen. You can cure certain types of cancer. And actually, if you're really, really rich, what's quite interesting is they take the DNA of your cells and they can work out what's causing your cancer, and they can give you immunotherapy. So they can give you something that will kill those individual cancer cells but not kill anything else.
Right.
In certain cases, obviously, you can go to these clinics in Switzerland where you pay them like 100 grand or whatever. And it really increases your lifespan versus the generic chemotherapy,
The shitty
shitty peasant version. You know, peasants getting the community. Well, that's me, but getting their chemotherapy. Because what that is it's more of a general approach. You've got a lump of cells that are dividing uncontrollably, so we're going to throw some shit at that lump that's going to kill that lump, but it's also going to kill a bunch of cells around your body. That's why people get so sick.
Do you think they use it as a money-making exercise?
What? Cancer?
Like cancer as a whole?
Oh, mate, the whole pharma industry is built on making money.
Yeah.
If they didn't make money, they wouldn't exist. This is the thing that I want people to understand, though, is in pharmaceuticals, if you're not making money, you can't exist.
Yeah.
We live in a capitalist society. You cannot have a company that cures or helps diseases if it is not making money, because then it has to be propagated by the government. And we know from stuff like the NHS, if stuff is propagated by the government, it goes to shit. These are private enterprises. They need to make money. But they are quite immoral. If they see an opportunity to make 2 billion there and it harms a few people's lives, there's still 2 billion in profit to them.
Collateral damage.
Collateral damage, exactly.
So if there was people that potentially could cure something like that, or found ways to make it easier, or found ways in which they could sell a new drug that wasn't led by these multi-billion, trillion-dollar pharmaceutical companies, would they want to out them or get rid of them?
Depends how much money's involved. But I will say these cancer doctors, they probably weren't going to cure cancer because it doesn't exist. So I doubt they would have been killed off, because I don't think the money-making potential would have been that high. But I'll tell you something that's interesting. One of the most successful drugs all around the world, one of the most profitable drugs, is statins. You know what statins do? They reduce your chance of having heart disease. So fat people obviously have much higher chance of having heart disease. Statins, basically what happens is your arteries get clogged by fat.
Yeah.
Statins can reduce that amount of fat that's building up. So there is a huge agenda where if people get fat or overweight or whatever, there's not a lot of very sound advice on what they should do. No one's really pushing them. Instead, in America particularly, they'll just put them on statins, because statins are for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So you're going back for your prescription of statins all the time, you're paying your money.
Well, they pay, don't they?
Yeah, and the pharma company's happy. So instead of exercising the way you should do it, exercise, lose fat, don't be such a fucking slob.
Yeah.
They just go, here you go, have some statins.
Yeah, but this is the thing that pisses me off, because doctors, like, even when you go to the doctors now, yeah, let's say I've got quite bad skin, psoriasis and stuff like that, yeah. And when you look into information online, they say that often it's like, you know, it can be caused by gut problems, it can be caused by stress, it can, all these different varying factors that can cause psoriasis, right? Not once, though, has a doctor ever sat down to me and said, let's look at your diet.
Yeah.
Like, don't you think that's fucking crazy?
Yeah, it's mental, mate.
For me, doctors are literally salespeople now.
The problem with doctors in general, and I know this because I was at one point looking into becoming a doctor, is especially for like a general practitioner.
Of course you was, Chinese.
Of course, mate, I am a doctor. I bring honor to my family. I'm going to be doctor or lawyer, but I'm PT, so I bring dishonor
Well, you
to
wouldn't
family.
have got your Game Boy.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I know this because I was going to become a doctor at one point. Problem is, there's 1,000,001 diseases out there, so much shit. And as a general practitioner, you're not a robot. You're not going to remember all of that.
No, of course.
So they don't often know what the best thing to do is. And if you're a semi-intelligent person and you know how to use Google and you maybe have a little bit of a science background, you can usually find the cure quite quickly on Google, quicker than the doctor would if you went to them. So, mate, I never really go to a doctor. If I have a problem, I Google it, I find out what the symptoms are, I find out how to cure it, and I sort it out myself.
Well, you fucking wouldn't get in anyway, would you?
Why?
Try and get a doctor's appointment.
Oh, right, yeah. What are you going to say, because it's Chinese and fucking racist?
Try get a doctor's appointment. It ain't happening, is it?
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
I just see them as salespeople now, though. Like, literally every time you've got a little thing that's just like, right, buy these tablets, buy them tablets, buy these tablets.
It's not as bad in the UK because the NHS pays the wages of doctors. It's particularly bad in the US though, because a lot of them are private, and the pharma companies will say, for example, we want you to push this product when people come to you with this certain type of disease. So in the US, mate, anything you go to them with, it's like, oh, here's these pills, and they don't give you the real sound advice. For example, when I was talking about the fat people, which is, you know, get yourself in the gym, eat in a calorie deficit, stop having fucking KFC and McDonald's all the time. And there you go, you're not going to get you're not very likely to get heart disease.
Less
now.
chance.
Yeah, but instead they're like, here, just have these statins, that'll sort you out. You carry on being a fat fuck.
Yeah. There is a film on Netflix called Pain Hustlers where they're talking about it's like an oral fentanyl that the pharmaceutical company was selling, and they sort of like fraudulently got doctors to sell it, and there was doctors being arrested and all sorts, but it was going on for such a long period of time and it was causing loads of problems. And I think that sort of stuff happens all the time, and I think they just cover it up very, very well.
So I think in that case, people were coming with pain, weren't they? And they were being prescribed this version of fentanyl.
Yeah.
And fentanyl, if you know, is a very, very strong drug. It's like a derivative of heroin, if I remember right.
Yeah.
So it is so addictive, but it does relieve your pain.
Yeah.
But they knew that by giving people these drugs that they would come back for more.
I have to.
So it was like, it's the best money making model, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you get people dependent on something, they're going to keep coming back for more. But they were ruining people's lives with this, weren't they?
Yeah.
And the best way pharma look to do it is they try and get you on something that will get you hooked for the rest of your life, but doesn't ruin your life, because then there's no lawsuit. But every now and then they get it wrong with stuff like that.
Do you think people are addicted to paracetamol?
Nah, surely not.
Again, you know, like it's like a placebo effect, right?
I don't take it unless I really need it. Unless I'm in an unbearable pain.
But imagine like a placebo, right? Like, you know, 5 people doing an experiment, one person gets a fake drug, and they see if that it's just the placebo effect, right? If it's like, was it the drug that actually cured it, or was it the fact that they think because they took something, it cured the problem?
What do you think? Paracetamol is a placebo?
I think so.
Nah, trust me. I've been fucking knocked out by paracetamol before, where I've had the worst flu, for example, and I've taken a couple of paracetamols, and it's like 50% better. It's not completely better, but I feel a lot better. And I wouldn't be able to put that down to placebo.
I don't take them though, at all. Like if I get headaches, most people will take it for headaches, right? Let's be honest. Yeah, they get a really bad headache.
Most people pussies.
Yeah, little faggots. They get a headache, they take a paracetamol every time, right? Yeah. And that, to me, that's like a form of addiction. Me, I just go and drink some water. Headache's a form of dehydration, isn't it?
You know the way you should do it?
What?
Just fucking sit there, feel the pain, and say, pain is good.
I fucking
makes me stronger.
Pain. Yeah. I own pain.
I'm like, give me a fucking headache. I start whacking my head harder. I'm like, come on.
No, but I just drink water.
Yeah.
Often it's just it's a dehydration, isn't it?
Sometimes when you're really ill though, like if I get flu, for example, and I got a banging headache, my nose is running.
Yeah, but
paracetamol
flu's a totally different scenario, because flu is like, well, how often do you get flu? Like once every 2 years or something? Like bad flu. I do anyway. I don't really get it.
Yeah, once every 2 years probably.
Probably like that. So then in that scenario, then obviously you take something and you can feel some sort of effect, and it does sort of help. But to take it for like headaches, I think that's just, again, is a learned behaviour, and I think it's like, right, you got a headache, take a paracetamol.
The thing is, it's not harmful to do that, but I just would choose not to. For me, taking any form of drug is like a last resort. Yeah. Because I believe in trying to keep your body as natural as possible. Like paracetamol, I know can be addictive. I also know if you take too much of it, the receptors that are involved in it can be, it's called down-regulated, where, for example, you take it and it doesn't become as effective in future. But
that's like anything. You drink vodka for your whole life. Suddenly you start drinking vodka, it doesn't really have the same effect on you anymore.
Yeah, so I'm always a big believer in it's the bare minimum. Yeah. I will only take it if I absolutely need to.
Yeah. You know, because I very, very rarely take them, it has such a good effect. And it's like, I remember when I was having a hair transplant, like I had anesthetic, local anesthetic in my head, and because I'd never ever had it before, I literally did not feel a thing. 7 hours in that operation, I didn't feel a thing.
Yeah, same with my tooth. I had a root canal. They injected the anesthetic into there. Didn't feel anything. It was like scraping around in there. Didn't feel a thing.
And that's got to be because it's just like you've never had it, or it's you know.
Yeah, if you were having anesthetic every day, you probably wouldn't. It wouldn't be as effective. But then I think there's a difference between that and paracetamol. I don't think paracetamol itself is not super addictive.
No.
I just think the personality of being a bitch and always needing paracetamol is addictive, because the drug itself, this comes down to what we were talking about earlier. You are in control of what you do with your hands. If there's a pill in front of you, you don't need to put it in your mouth. It doesn't matter if you're addicted to it. If there's alcohol in front of me and I'm an alcoholic, I don't need to drink it. I just push it away from me. I have belief that I'm in control of my mind, and I don't believe I can be addicted to things because of that. So it doesn't matter if paracetamol is addictive. I'm just not going to be a bitch. I'm not going to take it unless I want it.
No, I hear you, and say like it comes down to willpower, doesn't it? It's like find an alternative. Stop going for the easy way out all the time.
Yeah, and okay, I'm not saying, like, I don't want to say alcoholics, for example, can just stop drinking alcohol and it's that easy. But I really truly believe that if you have this mindset where you cannot be addicted to things, I truly don't believe I can be addicted to things that I don't want to be addicted to. Like, obviously I'm addicted to my work. I love gym. I could say that's an addiction, but I think there's a positive addiction. So there's no reason to stop doing it. If I was doing something negative in my life, like drinking, and it was affecting my life, I have full belief that I would just go, no, I'm not going to do that. I'll tell you what, it comes from my granddad.
Yeah.
So when he was out in China and Hong Kong, he was working as a bin man. He was working long hours to try and feed our family, because like they were so poor back then. Like literally, my mum was saying if she had oranges, it was a massive treat for them. So he'd work his ass off, but he was also smoking about 30, 40 cigarettes a day. But back then, we're talking about 60s. Nobody knew that smoking was bad for you. Everyone just thought, yeah, you know, smoking, it's a cool thing to do. As soon as he came over to the UK and he got told by a doctor, and he's smoking 40 a day at this point, he got told by a doctor that smoking's bad for you, it's going to affect your lungs, you're going to die of lung disease if you keep on doing this. You know what he did the next day? He just put the cigarettes down, didn't buy one for the rest of his life.
Sounds like a fucking quitter to me.
Nah, but that's the sort of mindset that's been instilled into me. Yeah. If I'm doing something that's negative in my life that I don't want to be doing, I'm just going to stop it because I'm in control of my two hands. I don't need to be doing it.
Yeah, but addiction's a positive thing, though. I think you need addiction.
Yeah, so people with addictive personalities can...
Well, I think everyone's got an addictive personality.
Yeah, I think I've got an addictive personality, but you can channel it towards positive things. And this is what I mean with addiction. If you have an addictive personality, see it as a positive and don't go towards the negative things, because you are in control of what you get addicted to. I will not smoke. I will not do anything that impacts my life negatively because I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And even if I get addicted to it, I'm just going to stop.
But I think that's because you have positive addictions. I think if you didn't have a positive addiction, then you would replace it with potentially a negative one. And that's why it's so important to have a positive one.
Yeah, yeah. So like people often get into bad addictions when they're in the lowest ebbs of their life, aren't they?
But I just think people are just, it's routine, isn't it?
Yeah.
So like I was saying about the paracetamol, it's like, all right, I've got a headache, take a paracetamol. That's routine addiction.
Yeah.
Reality is you don't need it. You can not do it, but because it's so instilled in you that that's what you do every time you have one, you will naturally, it's your go-to, right?
So it depends how much it's affecting their life at the end of the day. If they feel like their life is being negatively impacted by the amount of paracetamol they have, then and they can't stop, then they're a bitch. If they are just doing it and it's just something they do,
it's just something that's blasé, isn't it? It's something you don't think about.
Then yeah, cool, I'm fine.
So it's a very, very powerful quote that I heard, and I always write down quotes when I hear them and see them. So the rule of 100 states that if you spend 18 minutes a day at whatever discipline you want, that's 100 hours a year, and you will be better than 95% of the world in that discipline. Now, using that analogy, spending 18 minutes a day gives 100 hours a year, and then I would say at that point it's an addiction to something because it's muscle memory, right? Let's say you were learning to play the guitar and you spent 18 minutes a day. You eventually, after a year, you're addicted to playing it. Yeah, every day you're gonna spend 18 minutes playing it. Positive addiction, right? Yeah. Now let's say somebody for 2 months of their life goes gambling. Like, that is instilled in their life now. It's part of their everyday routine. Let's say somebody gets home from work and every time they get home from work, they have to have a beer with their dinner. That's routine. It's negative addiction, isn't it? It's all addiction. Whichever way you bandage it up, it's addiction.
So move towards the positive addiction.
Well, you have to realize what you're doing, because I think subconsciously it's like you probably don't, because it's so instilled in you, it's like it's that 18 minutes a day. Like, that's a positive thing, but it's because I do that every day now, it's just a thing. It's just muscle memory.
Yeah.
So if I get home from work and I have to crack open a bottle of wine because I'm single, lonely, sitting at home, feeling sorry for myself, then I'm going to do that every fucking night. So all you have to do is spend 18 minutes doing something different to replace that addiction, whatever it is. It can be, I don't know, I spend 18 minutes learning Italian or whatever, or learning something every night and replacing that. Now I've spent that 18 minutes and taken my focus away from the negative thing I was going to go and do.
It all comes down to the mindset of self-accountability, doesn't it? You are in control of what your addictions are. Channel it towards something that's going to be positive, and you will live a much happier life.
Be a fucking king like me and just be addicted to pussy.
There we go. There we go. Good place to end there, mate. Boom, bombshell.
Boom.
Thanks for listening, guys. This is about to be cancelled.
Episode 5.
Well, we're not going to say the episodes anymore because sometimes
sorry.
we change them around. But this is what do you reckon the title of this one's going to be?
Don't be a little bitch.
Don't be a little bitch. There we go. This is about to be cancelled. Don't be a little bitch. Let's go. See you guys.